Hello everyone, wanted to give you guys a little update video here, talk about some future planning to the car, so let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, I did a whole suspension refreshment, so anything you can think of on the car that is suspension related, shocks, springs, tie rods, control arms, you name it, I did it. So just to give you guys a little glimpse on some of the parts I pulled off the car, this is the front right side control arm. The boot was completely blown out. Both rubber grommets were just squeaky and movable. And example, in the rear was also blown out. So I also upgraded the rear sway bar links because these ones were non-refillable. The new ones I got are refillable. The grommets as well, the rubber grommets in here, they are a little gone. So whole suspension refreshment, again, new shocks, new springs, you name it, I did it. So yeah, that's the suspension, just refreshed it, didn't upgrade it with any high performance parts, just got OEM parts. The parts I got were from Moog or Mug, however you want to say that. I bought the parts off Rock Auto, if anyone was curious. So that's the suspension. The next one we're going to talk about is the oil pump. Let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so I replaced the 21-year-old oil pump on the car. There's normally a plate here. I took it off to kind of show you guys the insides. It was definitely time to replace it. Parts of the teeth are gone, and it's out of spec for the service manual. The service manual wants you to have the teeth gap between 0.03 to 0.08. My teeth gap, if I can actually get this back in here, my teeth gap, so the little gap between the teeth, it's 0.1. So this guy's gone. So I just bought a brand new pump, a brand new oil pump off of Melling, Rock Auto I meant. It's a Melling oil pump. So got that guy, put it on the car. It's incorporated in the timing belt. I did make a video about it. It's about an hour-ish long. I haven't posted it yet, but wanted to kind of explain to you guys that I do plan to post it here soon, just doing some more editing on it. It was super long. Other than that, brand new oil pump. Car sounds fabulous with it. There was a couple leak spots on it, which makes sense why I kept having leaking issues. The little O-ring right here was one of them. The factory RTV failed. And then the lack of pressure was from numerous things. The pump not in spec, and the pickup sump gasket was so gone that I actually had to burn it off with a torch off the pickup sump itself for the new one. So yeah, brand new oil pump on the car, which is awesome. The next thing that I actually upgraded on the car is the fuel pump on the car. So we put an AEM high flow fuel pump. This is the exact fuel pump I put in the car. So if you guys want to know, just pause it real quick and you can get the exact one. It was a night and day swap out from the factory pump to the AEM pump. So this is the old school Denso pump that was in there. 100% swapped it out. No issues. Plug and play and everything. So that was super easy. The other thing I upgraded was the timing belt. So we're no longer running the factory black Gates timing belt. The factory Gates belt still okay, but I upgraded to the blue, like high performance strength belt. So that's a plus too. And then the other two things that we need to talk about are these guys here. So let's go ahead and get into that. So this big ol' hunka-dunker right here is an upgraded oil pan to the car. I consider it an upgrade. I'll show you guys when we actually go to use this guy. I'll compare the two from the one on my car and this guy. This is only considered an upgrade in my eyes because it's got an oil return line for a turbo. So we can actually pipe the oil feed line back into the pan with this guy. I just need to figure out how to weld that in there or get someone to weld it in there for me. Other than that, upgraded pan for the car, so that's super sick. That's going to be awesome. We don't got to worry about tapping or drilling the only pan I have on the car. I actually was able to get a spare pan. And anyone wondering, that's a 2000 Space Star Mitsubishi upper oil pan. there's actually a serial code on the bottom of it, if anyone's wondering. Again, you can pause it. I'm not trying to take too long for you guys. I'm trying to burn through this and make sure I get everything in one video. So the last and final thing, which I'm pretty sure everyone was wanting me to talk about first, I'm very sorry, I kind of was trying to hold off on it, is the turbo. So I finally pulled the trigger. I didn't get a super fancy one. There's a couple of reasons, and I'll explain that. I got a maxpeedingrods GT28 turbo. I bought this off of Amazon, and it cost me about, I think it was like $300, $400. And I almost actually went with the billet model, but I didn't. I actually went with a wet float bearing turbo. So it requires a little bit more oil than a normal one, than the ball bearing ones, but easier for me to actually like rotate it and fit it in the engine bay. I actually had to end up returning 2 different turbos. One wasn't from maxpeedingrods, it was from a different company, and then the first maxpeedingrods turbo I got was a T3. Little too big, it hit my radiator. I could have shortened the radiator, but I didn't want to do that, so I just got a GT28. It also made it easier on the exhaust manifold. So got a cast iron manifold. I bought this guy off of eBay. It is for the GT28. I also got an adapter flange, so I could upgrade to a bigger one if we want to in the future, but we just put that GT28 on there. I don't see no issues. The only thing we're missing for this guy is the exhaust pipes, and I'll have to figure out how to connect it to my magma flow exhaust. Other than that, I have all of the piping for it, except for the intercooler radiator and the intercooler piping. What I mean by piping is I have all of the water cooling piping and oil piping, and that's about it. So not all the piping, I guess. My bad. The other thing I did to it is I got an adjustable actuator on here. It's by this company. He is the same company that made this manifold. So if you guys were wondering, he's the one that also made this manifold. In it right now we have a 4.41 PSI. And again, it's just to... we're just testing it out. We're making sure the car will handle it okay for the PSI. And then the reasoning why I didn't go all out and get like a super fancy Garrett turbo is for 2 reasons. If something happens with this turbo, I got a spare pan just in case that if something does happen to this turbo, I can go back to naturally aspirated until we do get a better one. And then I got a simple turbo just in case if the car blows it up because the car's stronger than what we expected and I don't ruin a nice fancy turbo. We have something to kind of start off with as a learning step in a learning curve. And from what I've heard, people said maxpeedingrod has been making some pretty good stuff. So I guess I got to try it out and find out. So we got that on there. Again, 4.41 PSI to start off with. They did tell me the stock regulator that it came with had a 14 PSI on there. So I did actually get different springs for it. So we have a 7 to upgrade in the future, a 14 to upgrade in the future, which is supposedly what this turbo comes with, and then a 17 spring to upgrade to. So we got some headroom that we can upgrade to, just for you guys to be prepared for. Other than that, everything is ready. Like the oil piping is ready. I have that. We just got to weld it into the pan. The radiator fluid for it is ready. I figured out where I'm going to pull that from. We're only missing exhaust for the car, the piping for it, and the intercooler for it. I got bigger fuel injectors on the way. I'll make a video for you guys when they show up. And yeah, that's about it. Before we actually slap this guy on, I wanted to make that the last kind of statement. I am unfortunately going to wait until I get a better ECU, only because the stock ECU is becoming a little bit of cumbersome, and I am planning to upgrade to a haltech when I can afford it, when I can actually get it. And there'll be a couple things with that too. I got to get a boom sling harness for it, and we got to figure out how the heck to even get the 4G94 OZ Rally to work with a haltech. I don't think anyone has. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I just, in their program, I get that car as an option. So we might be the first messing with a haltech on this type of model of a car. But until then, all of this is kind of just gathering and preparation. The haltech ECU will be the first thing that actually goes on the car first, unfortunately, you guys. So keep staying tuned. I will keep you guys updated. Don't worry. I will make sure you guys don't miss out on anything. I will always keep you guys updated. And yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day.